This is an introduction to the App Engine capabilities of ServiceNow. We will look at a scoped app created in ServiceNow, which is used to manage equipment loans by employees. For example, an employee needs a laptop or a smartphone. Here is the application and the current requested items, the current requested loans. And let's open the first record. Here we see that Jane Doe has requested a laptop, and the start and end date are here, and the actual asset she has is a MacBook Pro. She does get reminders because her end date is due. And we could also create a new loan from the application by filling in our variables here. But let's switch to the mobile application. Here is the screen of my mobile phone, and open up the ServiceNow Agent app and go to the loan equipment. Here you see several applets. Based on the role that will determine which applets you will see, but here I will choose new loan for now, and I see the types I can loan, and when I want a smartphone I can just swipe on it and say create request. Adjust the date, let's use it for 2 months, and now it is created. And now when I go back to the platform and review the loans requests, I can now open up the request created via the smartphone app, and I see that it is to state requested, and because that is determined via a flow designer flow, we need an approval from the manager. So because I'm an admin, I can override and right click and approve this request. And this will set the state to fulfillment. It should change in any second. Yes, now it's fulfillment. And we can select an asset. So it will only show us the mobile phones or the smartphones, and let's say that this is assigned to the user, and select this equipment. And now, because we have selected this asset for this user, it is set to awaiting collection. So now let's assume that we are in the warehouse where the user will pick up the items, and open the app again. And as a fulfiller or the employee that gives out the smartphone, I can, when the borrower comes, I can scan the smartphone. This image may not be the latest and greatest smartphone, but okay. I have scanned the QR code on the phone. I say okay. And here I see the request. And when I swipe on the request, and I can say mark as collected, give it to the borrower, and here you go. And at this point you see that the state of the loan request is set to unloan. So now we are done for this. So it's very easy to create flows like this. And to show it off, here I am in the loan table. So the items you see here, the fields over here, those are in the loan table. And we are extending the loan table from task. And the great benefit of that is that in ServiceNow you can leverage a lot of available capabilities. And the task table is one important thing about that. It contains a lot of fields you can use out of box for workflow applications, like the start and end dates, the active state. What we have done here is added a field for the asset. So that's not an out of box, but for our extension of the application, we have added asset, and that refers to the asset table. So we have all our assets in ServiceNow, and it is managed there, so we don't have to create all that infrastructures ourselves, but it is available here. The same is for the borrower. That's a reference to the user field. So we only have to add the field to the table, and after that it all works. And if we would like to, for example, a simple change, if we open up the form design, here we see that this is type and here we have state. Let's say we would like to have the number field, so we have a unique number of that request. Save it. Now it's saved, and from this form we can also add new fields. If we, for example, would like to add a decimal field, we could drag and drop it and configure it from here, and it will be added, and it works right away. I'm not going to save that now. So we have added the number field, and when I refresh here, you will see that the number field is available on the form right now. So we have covered the data model and the fields we can modify, the form design, and Flow Designer we have not touched upon that yet, but we have seen the actions of Flow Designer. For example, the equipment loan flow. This is a graphical way to model your process behavior. So what we have just seen, when a loan is created, that it will be set to a state of requested right away. That was done by this flow. And the second thing we have just seen is, here is first a check if the borrower has a manager. So that's defined out of box in the user table. So it will ask for approval to that manager. It checks the field and it will send out an approval request to that. And if the result of that request is that it is approved, we will update the record and change the state to fulfillment. If the approval does not approve, then the case will be closed. So a very easy way to configure or to model your processes. And in the right pane, you see all the fields and all the related things we are working on. We are working on a loan record. And for example, if we would like to include in a notification the end date, we could just drag and drop that to the fields we are using. So it's really a no-code experience to design processes. Next is the mobile app. We did show the mobile app, but it can all be configured in the application as well. If we go to the applications, for example, the all loans, here you see that how it will look like. So we can configure which field we want to show, and we can select different templates of how it will look. So again, a no-code experience to model your mobile applications. And then what we have as well, we can have multiple channels and very easily. So when I type in loan, this is Slack. This is a messaging application, and this is also available in, for example, the Service Portal or Microsoft Teams or a bunch of other chat applications. And I type in loan, and it figures out that most likely I will want to loan something. Let's say I need a VPN router, fill in the start and end date, and it's created, and it gives me a link back to the platform, and here I can review the request I have just submitted. And what we have as well is automated testing. When we want to upgrade, we want to make sure everything is still working. And in the service portal, which I will show briefly from here, I also have the ability to start off a loan. So this is available for all the end users in the organization. And let's say I want to test out if this works after I have changed something or there is an upgrade. I can go to an automated test framework test, loan laptop records producer service portal, and this will basically open that form as another user, fill in the variables, submit it, open the resulting record, and check if all the records are as we have defined here. So let's run this test. And what you will see here, that all the steps will be done like that. Here you see that it is as the user I have assigned. And now it's opening the form and it's already done the test. So in a few seconds all the steps are done, what would have taken a lot more time manually. And here you see that there is an error, so let's go to the result. And here we see that in step 6 it failed. And for the failing step there is a screenshot, and I'll open it. So here you see the start and end date and the type. And the type here is laptop. And what I see here, that in my testing, I am testing if the type is projector, and it's not because it was laptop. So that is the reason of the failure. So that's another capability that makes it easier to maintain. So back to the start screen for our overview. Other capabilities are, for example, integrating reports where we can monitor the state, and we could also integrate SLAs that are by default available, and that can be used to track meeting our performance that we have to meet. So to wrap up, I hope you have seen that it's easy to build workflow apps, that we can integrate a lot of capabilities from the platform like native mobile, and we can use other channels like Slack or other applications using virtual agents, reporting, analytics, a lot available to leverage in ServiceNow. And we can take it to the next level. We can start off easily, and if there are requirements to fulfill automatically by sending a request to a third party, it is all available without coding, or if it's needed, we can set up our own integration as well. So that's it for now. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and thank you for now.